Before we begin, let me ask you something gently. Have you ever noticed how strange it feels when someone you love leaves this world? Because the first feeling people expect is sadness, and sadness does arrive. But often there is something else there too. Something quieter, something harder to name, a strange sense of presence. Memories appearing suddenly, moments replaying with new meaning, little reminders scattered through the world. A song, a smell, a place, and sometimes it can feel almost as if the person you love has not disappeared at all, but has simply changed the way they exist in your life. Tonight's story is about that quiet mystery. It's about a river and the lanterns that people sometimes place upon it. In a small town, nestled between gentle hills, there was a wide, slow-moving river. The river had been there longer than anyone can remember. Older than the houses, older than the roads, older even than the oldest stories people told. It moved quietly through the town with a calm patience that only rivers seem to understand. During the day, the river sparkled in sunlight. At night, it became dark and reflective, like a long ribbon of glass. And once every year, on the first night of autumn, the people of the town gathered beside that river. They came carrying lanterns, hundreds of them, small paper lanterns with candles glowing softly inside. Some lanterns were simple. Others were decorated with colors or small drawings. But every lantern represented the same thing: a life. Someone who had once walked the streets of that town. Someone who had once laughed, spoken, loved, and lived. And each lantern was placed on the river in the memory of someone who had passed on. The townspeople called it the Night of the Lanterns. But the tradition had a deeper purpose than remembrance, because the people of the town believed something important. They believed that love never truly disappears. It simply changes its direction, like a river. Many years ago there lived in that town a woman who had just lost someone she deeply loved. The loss had arrived suddenly, too soon, too abruptly. The kind of loss that makes the world feel unfamiliar. The kind where even ordinary things, morning coffee, quiet rooms, empty chairs, carry a strange heaviness. And as the weeks passed, the woman noticed something that confused her. The sadness came in waves, sometimes gentle, sometimes overwhelming. But beneath the sadness, there was another feeling she could not explain. It was almost as if the love she had for that person had nowhere to go. It still existed. It was still strong. But the person she had once given it to was no longer there to receive it. And that made the love feel restless, like water searching for a path. When the Night of the Lanterns arrived that autumn, friends encouraged her to come to the river. At first she hesitated. Part of her wondered if it would hurt too much. But another part of her felt quietly drawn there. So that evening she walked slowly toward the riverbank. The town was glowing with lantern light. Families stood together quietly. Some people were smiling gently. Others wiped tears from their eyes. Children held small lanterns carefully in their hands. And the river was already carrying dozens of floating lights downstream. The woman watched them move, lantern after lantern, drifting slowly along the dark water. Each one glowing softly, each one carrying a story. An elderly man stood beside her. He had lived in the town for many decades, and he noticed the expression on her face. "You're wondering why we do this," he said kindly. She nodded. "I'm not sure I understand," she admitted. "It feels beautiful, but also painful." The man smiled gently. "Yes," he said, "it's both." He pointed toward the river. "People think these lanterns represent people we lost, but that isn't quite true." The woman looked at him curiously. "What do they represent then?" she asked. The man paused for a moment, as if choosing his words carefully. "They represent the love that still remains." He gestured toward the river. When someone dies, people often believe the relationship ended. But love does not end. It simply changes its direction. The woman listened quietly. The man continued. "Think about the river. The lantern does not disappear when we place it on the water. It begins a new journey. It moves forward, carried by something larger than itself." The woman watched the lanterns again. Some moved slowly, others drifted farther down the river. But each one continued glowing. The man spoke softly. "When someone we love dies, the love we share does not vanish. It becomes part of who we are. It becomes the kindness we show others, the wisdom we carry, the memories that guide us, the stories we tell. In that way, their life continues flowing through us." The woman felt something shift inside her chest. Not the disappearance of sadness, but a widening around it. A space where something warmer could exist. The man handed her a lantern. "You may place one on the river if you wish," he said. She held it carefully. The small candle flickered inside the paper walls. And as she stood beside the water, memories began appearing in her mind. Moments she had shared with a person she had lost. Laughter, conversations. Quiet, ordinary days that felt small, but now seemed precious. And suddenly she understood something. Every one of those moments she had shared shaped her life. Every kindness they showed, every lesson they taught, every love they gave. Those things had not disappeared. They had become part of her, like water joining the river. She knelt beside the edge of the water and gently placed the lantern on the surface. For a moment it rocked slowly. Then the current caught it, and slowly it began drifting downstream. She watched it move, glowing, steady, not fading, not lost, just traveling. The old man stood beside her quietly, and after a moment he spoke again. "Grief is love that has changed its form," he said. The woman continued watching the lantern, and for the first time since the loss, she felt something unexpected. Not the absence of grief, but the presence of gratitude. Because the sadness existed only because the love had been real. And real love never truly disappears. It flows forward, through memory, through influence, through the lives that continue. The lantern drifted further down the river now, joining dozens of others, tiny lights moving together across the dark water. And suddenly, the river looked different. It no longer appeared empty. It looked alive with light. A quiet reminder that every life leaves something behind. And as the woman stood there in the cool autumn night, she realized something else. The person she loved had not vanished. Their voice lived in the way she spoke. Their kindness lived in the way she treated others. Their laughter lived in the stories she would continue telling. Their love lived inside her heart, carried forward like a lantern moving down the river. And as the river flowed steadily through the night, the lanterns continued drifting, each one glowing softly, each one a reminder that life does not end in darkness. It continues in the lives we touched. It continues in the love that remains. It continues in the quiet ways people carry one another forward. And if you ever find yourself missing someone deeply, you might imagine a river like that, a calm, endless river, and somewhere upon its surface, a lantern glowing softly. Not lost, not gone, simply traveling onward. And in its gentle light, you may remember something very important. Love is one of the few things in this world that does not end. It simply learns how to flow. Now that the story has gently settled in your mind, this is a moment where nothing needs to be solved, nothing needs to be analyzed, and nothing needs to be held on so tightly anymore. Because sometimes after remembering someone we love, the heart simply needs space. Space to breathe, space to soften, space to rest. So wherever you are right now, allow yourself to become a little more comfortable. If you are lying down, let your body settle naturally into the surface beneath you. If you are sitting, allow your shoulders to loosen slightly and take a slow, gentle breath in. Not a forced breath, just a comfortable one. And then allow the breath to leave slowly. Another calm breath in, and a long, easy breath out. And with each breath, you might begin to notice something very simple. Your body already knows how to relax. You do not have to make it happen. You simply allow it. So as your breathing continues to move slowly and naturally, you might begin noticing small places in your body that are already softened. Perhaps the muscles around the eyes loosen gently, the forehead smoothing, the jaw unclenching, even the tongue resting comfortably in the mouth. And when the face relaxes, the rest of the body often follows. So allow that calm feeling to move downward into the neck releasing any small tension it may have been holding on today. Letting the head feel heavy, supported completely by the pillow or the chair. You don't need to hold it up. You don't need to do anything. Just allow it to rest. And now that relaxation can begin spreading into the shoulders. The shoulders often carry so much. Responsibilities, worries, memories. But for this moment, the shoulders can rest. Allow them to sink downward just a little more. almost as if gravity itself is helping you release the day. And that softness can begin flowing downward through the arms, the upper arms, the elbows, the forearms, all the way into the hands, the fingers loosening gently, perhaps curling slightly into a natural position of rest. Your arms now completely supported, doing nothing, holding nothing, just resting. Now bring your awareness to the rhythm of your breathing again. Slow, easy, natural. The chest rising gently and falling again. And with each breath out, you might imagine releasing anything that feels heavy tonight, not pushing it away, just letting it drift, like a lantern slowly moving down a quiet river. And as the body continues relaxing, your mind may begin to quiet as well. Thoughts may still appear. That's perfectly natural. But you don't need to follow them. You can simply notice them, the way you might watch lanterns floating across the water. Each thought drifting by, appearing, glowing softly for a moment, and then moving onward. Your mind becoming like a peaceful river from the story, wide, calm, open. And somewhere within that quiet river of the mind, you might imagine a soft light, a lantern. Not a lantern of sadness, but a lantern of remembrance. A warm light representing the love you carry. Because love does not disappear. It simply becomes part of who we are. And you might notice that this light does not feel heavy. It feels warm, comforting, steady, like a gentle presence within the heart. And as you continue breathing slowly, that warm light may begin spreading softly through your body, through the chest, through the shoulders, through the arms, down into the stomach, through the hips and legs, all the way to the feet. A quiet warmth moving through you, not replacing your feelings, but holding them with kindness, because the heart is capable of holding many things at once: sadness, gratitude, love, memory, all flowing together like water in a river. And tonight, you do not have to carry any of it alone. You can allow the quiet rhythm of your breathing to hold you. Allow the stillness of this moment to support you. And if your mind drifts, that is perfectly okay. You can simply return to the feeling of the breath, slow, steady, comforting. Or imagine that peaceful river again, lanterns drifting slowly across the surface, each one glowing softly in the darkness. And with each breath out, you may find yourself drifting deeper into calm, deeper into quiet, deeper into a peaceful place within yourself where the heart can rest, a place where love continues gently flowing, a place where memories are not heavy but softly illuminated. And as you continue resting here, your body may grow heavier, more comfortable, more relaxed, and your mind may grow quieter, as if the night itself is wrapping around you with calm and stillness. Just breathing, just resting, just allowing yourself to drift gently along the quiet river of the heart. So here are the key meanings of the story. Number 1, the river represents life continuing to flow. The river symbolizes the ongoing movement of life. Even when someone dies, life itself keeps flowing forward. The metaphor gently reminds the listener that existence doesn't stop with loss. It changes form and continues through life, memories, and the people who remain. Number 2, the lantern represents the love that remains. The lanterns are not just symbols of the people who passed away. They represent the love that still exists after someone is gone. When a lantern is placed on the river, it symbolizes releasing love onto the ongoing flow of life rather than trying to hold it in one place. Number 3, grief is love that has changed form. The central message of the story is that grief is not simply sadness. It is love that no longer has the same place to go. The story reframes grief as evidence of deep connection rather than something broken or wrong. Number 4, the relationship does not truly end. The metaphor suggests that the bond with a loved one continues, but in a different way. Their influence lives on in the ways we think, act, treat others, and carry their lessons forward. Number 5, a life leaves ripples in other lives. Every life touches other lives. The story highlights that a person's kindness, wisdom, laughter, and presence become a part of people who they loved. In this way, the person continues through those who remember them. Number 6, sadness and gratitude can exist together. The story gently shows that grief does not have to be only pain. It can also contain gratitude for the time shared, the memories created, and the love experienced. Both emotions can exist side by side. Number 7, letting go does not mean forgetting. Placing the lantern on the river represents releasing the need to hold on to the past tightly. Letting go allows love to continue flowing rather than becoming stuck in sadness. Number 8, love is not limited by time or physical presence. One of the deeper meanings is that love doesn't disappear when someone dies. The emotional connection continues through memory, influence, and the ways the love shapes the person who remains. Number 9, loss can deepen understanding of life. The story suggests that losing someone can open the heart to a deeper appreciation of life, relationships, and the quiet impact people have on one another. And number 10, love is one of the few things that truly continues. The final and most comforting message is that love does not end with death. It continues flowing through memory, through actions, through the lives touched by the person who once lived. Like lanterns drifting on a river, their light continues moving forward. And as this story gently comes to a close, you might notice how the heart feels now. Perhaps a little softer, a little warmer, a little more open to the quiet understanding that love never truly disappears. The people we lose may no longer walk beside us in the same way, but their light continues in the memories we carry, the lessons they left behind, and the love that still moves through our lives. Just like those lanterns drifting on the river, their glow continues long after they've been released. And if this story brought you even just a small sense of comfort tonight, I invite you to subscribe to the channel so you can return anytime you need a place to reflect, relax, and reconnect with your heart through hypnotic storytelling. And if you ever feel that a story written just for you could help you through something personal, grief, healing, sleep, stress, or transformation, I create personalized hypnotic stories designed especially for your journey. You can reach me directly at rondashypnoticstories@gmail.com. Until next time, take a slow breath in and gently let go. And remember that love, once shared, never truly fades. It simply continues to shine, like a lantern moving softly along the quiet river of life.